friends, I'm going to narrate a story about Gandhiji. I am Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was born on October 2nd, 1869 at Popandar in India. Let us listen to what Gandhiji wants to tell us, as narrated by me. Today people call me strong, unafraid, unstoppable. I wasn't always that way. As a child growing up in India, I was shy, afraid of the dark. I was also afraid of snakes. Ew, a snake. Want to see it? I would very much now like to see it. I spend most of my time with books. A long walk is a great way to spend the day. Try it. You'll like it. Even with all my books, I wasn't a great student. I was bad at multiplication, and one day when I got one of our spelling words wrong, the teacher pointed to another boy's paper. What's he doing? He wants you to copy it from me, so you will get the right answer. I didn't think that was the right thing to do. That's not how you learn. When the teacher scolded me, I wasn't bothered. In my life, I did not copy others' work. However, there was one story that was worth copying. It was a play I read in school about a man named Shravan Kumar. Shravan was so devoted to his parents that when they were too old to travel, he literally carried them on his back. This is a picture I'll never forget. It was an example I wanted to follow. One person carrying others who needed help. My father had a good job. He was a political leader. But there were many who had no jobs. They were the poorest of the poor. They were treated terribly and had the worst jobs. There were even different laws that applied to them. Poverty, hunger, no house, no clothes, poor suffering, treated as untouchables. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi married Kasturba. The Gandhi couple had 4 children, all sons. April 1893, Gandhiji moves to South Africa. Friends, let's continue with the story. Luckily, I got offered a new case in a country called South Africa. I was excited to try again. As I took the last part of my journey by train, a white passenger noticed me. He shouldn't be here. This is first class, but I have a first class ticket. He didn't like me because I was Indian, my skin was brown, and his was white. Believe it or not, he had the law on his side. The train official asked me to leave. He said that if I didn't leave, he would call the police. Yes, you may, I told him. I refused to get a voluntarily. Why don't you go sit in third class where you belong? A policeman pushed me out of the train and tossed my stuff onto the station platform. Soon after, I decided to stay in South Africa and form the Natal Indian Congress to help Indians as they become more active in the government. Let us unite, come together, noble cause. The Natal Indian Congress. The most important thing I did there was to come up with Satyagraha. In Sanskrit, it combines the word Satya, which means truth, with Agraha, which means firmness. He's so simple. He's so humble. In no time, I started to practice Satyagraha. There was a new law in South Africa which would kick Indians out if not registered with the government. January 1915, Gandhiji returns to India. Back to my home in India. It was still being run by the British, who treated us terribly. And worst of all, Indians still treated some other Indians terribly too. Gandhi, there's a family outside. They need a place to stay, but they are untouchables. Let them in. All are welcome here. April 13, 1919, Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. To protest the unfair British laws. In India, we held another strike. For one full day, no one went to work. At all of Indians, every shop, farm, restaurant closed down. The British got so mad, they sent their soldiers to an event that celebrated the religious New Year. For many Indians, over 10,000 people were gathered peacefully in a place called Jallianwala Bagh. Get the Indians! The soldiers attacked the crowd. Over 1,000 were injured, 100 were killed. They hit us hard. It was tempting to hit them back. Truth, violence will never get you what you want. I called for massive boycotts, which meant we would stop going to British schools and stop working for British employers. I had to make sure that as many people as possible heard my message. To do that, I relied on the same thing as when I was younger. I walked. India was over 1,000,000 square miles. The poor lived in hard-to-reach villages, so I traveled to them. For 7 months, I ate the same meal, 3 days a time, 16 ounces of goat's milk, 3 slices of toast, 2 oranges, and some grapes or raisins. Only by standing together, rich and poor could be free from this unfair government. Only united are we unstoppable. March 1930, Dundee, Saltmarsh. I went right back to India, to my mission. The British government still wouldn't leave India. They passed new laws called the Salt Tax, which said Indians couldn't make or sell our own salt. We had to buy it from the British. How could we convince the British? We marched on March 12, 1930. 78 people joined me as we headed towards the sea. I was 60 years old, walking 240 miles, 10 miles each day for nearly a month. Where are we going? You'll see. The farther we walked, the more people joined us. They poured water on the paths to keep the dust down. They tossed flowers and leaves to make it easier to walk on. The crowd soon ballooned to thousands, stretching back for 2 miles. Reporters around the world told a story. Justice, tolerance, nonviolence, and peace. 24 days later, we reached our destination, the village of Dundee near the Arabian Sea. There I gave my signal to the nation. What's he doing? There's something in the sand. I picked up a handful of salt left by the waves. That's it. I never raised my fists. I never carried a weapon. But in that act, holding salt that wasn't bought from the British government, I fought back. I broke the law with the entire world watching. Just a few clumps of salt united our people. and made the whole world realize how poorly the British were treating us. From there, it still took years, but we were on our way to India. Over many years, I had many fights, but to fight by purposely avoiding violence, to refuse to raise your fist, no matter what is raised against you. Some would call that foolish madness. But what it really is? Strength doesn't come from the size of your body, it comes from the size of your heart. Show love especially when you want to fight unfairness. You must help others who are in need. Carry them on your shoulders. Speak up for them when they don't have a voice. Hold true to your beliefs. Jai Hind! I am Gandhi, and in a gentle way I'll shake the world. August 15, 1947. India's independence from British. January 30, 1948. Gandhiji was assassinated by Nathuram Godse. Gandhiji guides all of us for generations. His message of truth, justice, and nonviolence shall remain with us forever. Let us stay inspired by our Gandhiji, our Bapuji. Let us imbibe his message. Thank you and Jai Hind!